Okay, we are ready. We are live.
Nice. All right, guys. Today we are here to talk with Poopy Head, Porta Potty, and Nature Call, and we'll be discussing relationships, their boundaries, and Valentine's coming close. So a bit about that. So to take the lead, we have the almighty Porta Potty, and he will take it from here.
Yeah, relationships, a big topic, right? And I found a quote and I wanted to share that with you. Apologizing doesn't always mean you're wrong and the other person is right. It means you value your relationship more than your ego, by Mark Matthews. I think this is a really great quote because, I mean, relationship and egos, when it comes to argumentation, fighting, that's the big thing, right? Because often when you start having argumentation with your partner, it's often you lose kind of the track about discussing about the problem and want to fix the problem. It's more about then the emotions behind, and then at the end it's more like, well, you don't listening to me, you don't understand my side. And it's the ego thing, right, at the end, because you kind of want to convince the other half that you are right and she's wrong or he's wrong, and I think um, this happens a lot in relationships. And for me, I think the key here is really a communication. I think, and and also it goes into also attachment style, which I think it's really interesting. I don't know, guys, do you know anything about attachment style? You heard about that before?
Not at all. I think we both will be useless in this. But we might. Why don't you teach us?
All right, I quickly share like
Yeah.
really the basic, because I'm reading at the moment a really great book. And so they
Nice.
are basically in really in a basic level, you can say there are three attachment styles. There is the avoidant, the anxious, and the secure. And what you want to achieve in your relationship is basically the secure attachment style. The and when it comes to a specific, when we talk about those argumentation, it's really interesting because the anxious attachment style, that person really wants to discuss it out. So kind of that person cannot go to bed before these things are not discussed. We need to really fix that now at that moment. Otherwise, that person has, gets crazy inside and kind of, no, I have these feelings. I really need to discuss it. And the avoidant person is more, hey, it's too much for me at the moment. I need my space. Let me alone. I need to kind of go away, and kind of I need to be by myself. I cannot fix that yet. And this dynamic is really interesting because often those kind of styles often are a couple, because it's really attracted to each other. I mean, there's way more behind, but often you're realizing you're in a relationship and one person is anxious and the other one is avoidant. What you want to achieve, of course, is if you are both ends, you want to come closer in the middle and be in the secure attachment style, right? And you can only achieve that at the end if you really respect, see the view of the other side, like understand why that person reacts like that at the moment. And then, as I said in the beginning, communication is key, right? That you really then discuss those things out and try really to fix the problem, finding solutions, be a team, and not that ego thing that you want to convince the other person, hey, I'm right, you're wrong, right? Because the urge of winning. And I think that's why that quote is really nice. You need to put your ego by side. You are a team now. You're not against each other. And this is really a difficult thing, right? Because we always want to be right, right? We want to convince. And I think in relationship, you really have to put your ego aside. I don't know. You have any? When I'm saying that now, do you have any experience with such kind of situation? You kind of had similars in when you in relationship or in other situations?
Well, I think from my experience, when you were mentioning the attachment styles, I definitely try to be, um, what is it? The one that's opposite of avoidant, like the one that's always trying to be.
Anxious,
What was it?
anxious,
No, not it was avoidant, anxious, and the other one
secure.
secure.
Secure
Oh,
is kind
secure.
of the
Actually, no. I'm definitely not secure.
You insecure?
No. I'm definitely anxious.
Like,
But I think anxious is, it's always like the fear of like potentially losing the person. Like if you have
Mhm.
like conflicts you want to build up, and well, conflicts that build up and you want to discuss it, but you're afraid of perhaps maybe bringing it up or saying the wrong thing. And then it's, so you always think about the negatives rather than like the positives. You always think of the worst case scenario
Yeah.
rather than thinking like more like reasonable. Like sometimes it's always a good thing to talk about issues and concerns that you have throughout, like whether you're dating the person or you're already in the relationship with the person, because communication is very important. If you kind of just leave things like um, not addressed, it kind of builds up down the road. And if you ever come across that situation again and then you don't deal with it, and then you kind of repeat that same process again and again of not bringing up that thing, it just kind of goes down a spiral. And then down the road, it might become a bigger thing that it is
Yeah.
if you've taken care of it earlier and talked about it earlier with the person that you're dating or you're in a relationship with. But I tend to be anxious because I'm always like second guessing, like, oh, what if, the what ifs, like, oh, what if this could go wrong or something. But I think that it's better to take the chance to talk about it in like a one-on-one space than to kind of let it build up into something that's could be potentially worse than what it is. So that's my take on how I feel about my attachment style.
I have a question on this. So, when you say, are you trying to say that anxious and avoidance is not a good style and secure is the best style? Or are you saying that some couples are um, identified as either of those styles?
So when I read those books, I mean, it's clearly came out that you should become a secure attachment style, right? Because a secure attachment style, he knows, okay, I understand the other side. I understand that that person needs now a little break from, not break, but like a little distance, or the other person, it's important that she talks it out now. But the secure person is exactly what you said, is not afraid of losing someone. The secure person is really there for their partner, but also knows when you need to have your own time. And this is really what comes out of those books. So the goal is really, I mean, it's not one extreme to the other extreme. Often it's kind of you are somewhere in that line, but the idea is that you more and more go towards the middle, right? When you are secure, but there's so many different aspects to that, right? I mean, we all have tendencies in one direction and the other one, right? But I think the first step is really being aware, being aware of your own attachment style. That helps you a lot to understand why you react in certain ways, right? And also to understand your partner. So why my partner, I don't know, is now so anxious, or says, like, as you said, the worst case scenario. Always think about breaking up because you're not agreeing on the same topic. Well, it's not the end of the world, right? You don't have to agree all the time, but it's really good that you have that understanding. And I think attachment style, or also love languages, they're really like topics. I think when it comes to relationship, what is our topic today, is really important, right? To understand. Those are kind of the basics, I think, which makes it easier to understand a relationship, easier to understand why my partner, why am I reacting the way I'm reacting, right? Why I'm loving that person, why I have the feeling I don't get enough love, right? This is goes into the love languages, the 5 love languages, which are out
Mm.
there. Yeah.
Okay. No, we can talk about the 5 love languages shortly, but I think I would say my take would be that to say that it's good to come and meet in the middle, yes, it's easier said than done.
Mm.
It could be, let's say, one of the partners could be secure or the other one could be anxious, and or in certain traumatic or tension areas or subjects, it might be just the opposite, uh, based on the partners. So I think it's important to match energy, not for if somebody's anxious, you are also anxious with them. You just have to be a partner that can just listen and just know when to bring that topic up, or have there should not be any expectation that they should understand
Mm.
them just on that level, because you don't know what that other partner is going through. Yes, it's great that we should share everything, but at times, what happened at work, they might have not shared that. There could be something happening in the family, might have not shared that with the other partner. It's always good to share all these things, but we all know that there's a lot of excitements in our life that we tend not to share, so it doesn't impact our relationships, or relationship in this case. Um, but I understand, and secure relationship is not as easy because it's actually being very, very vulnerable. And mm, when you're trying to share that much with the person, you actually are sharing way more with your partner than you have done with even your family members, even your best friends who've known you for years and years. You're pretty much going all in, um, with the person, and hoping that they also share everything about themselves. And then you're able to talk it out. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Sometimes you are trying to be vulnerable, and the other person's thinking that because you're just texting, it's taken as, oh, he's being rude or she's being rude, or vice versa, or he and he are being rude, or whichever partner is set up together.
Mm.
But I would say it's a lot tougher. But I think whatever works for people together, and they're happy with each other, that's the best. But in my life, I feel like I've gone through this more as different phases in my life, where I've definitely had anxious relationship, and then I've definitely done the avoidance to figure out how to manage. And now I'm setting up in the stage of like being vulnerable and learning how to be quite open with my feelings and what I feel or what I sense. Um, and it's not an easy road. It's actually quite difficult. Avoidance is so much easier. Just shut down and not talk about it. But they say you only have one life, so you gotta keep growing. So, but that's just in my thing. I don't think it matters if somebody else just wants to avoid and live in a small bubble. I think there's nothing wrong in that. I think to each their own. It's just that thing. But yeah, any comments on that before we jump into the law of languages?
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of great things because, yeah, I mean, commitment is scary, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not easy to commit to another person. And you also mentioned, oh, I have it on my, oh, you know that feeling you just had it and now you forgot it? um,
I know.
the grow aspect. I mean, absolutely. And showing emotions, kind of. And I think, especially as a man, where we always told keep your emotion together, don't show emotion, right? I think as a modern man is also really important to kind of address emotions, right? In a careful way, of course. I mean, know, be aware of what you're sharing, but it's important, especially in a relationship, that you share your emotion, address how you feel, address if you like something, if you don't like something. Then we talk about boundaries, right? It's another great topic within relationship. But I think it's really great. And the first step, I mean, it's basically what you said: reflection, be aware of what you doing, right? And if you already did, you said you did that step, and that's great because you want to grow, right? You are interested in becoming better. You're better. when you look back in a year now, you say, I grow, right? Don't compare yourself with others, but compare yourself with yourself, right? And if that's I think that's really great. Yeah, that's really important what you said.
It's great, but it's also very, very tough. Yeah, I don't think there's a comparison game with others ever. It's actually
Yeah.
just a comparison game with yourself every day because it's your life. You're not really comparing with others. It's not like in the end of the race, like Mario Kart, that who's first, second, and third. It's more just a life of your own, and you decide whether you want to be
Yeah.
in a state of when you have arrogance or ego or you know hide yourself from others or not experience what tensions or worries impact you. You have to actually go through all of them. You don't have to. Some people are very happy. Are some of my really, really good friends who are just enjoying a great bubble life.
Hmm.
And respect to them. I'm happy for them that they're enjoying the life they want to. I prefer doing it this way, and I enjoy it facing myself every day and realizing what things I need to work on. And there's a lot, sadly, there's a lot. But
Yeah, but also don't be
that's
too
me.
hard on yourself. I think a lot of people always have the feeling you need to be already in a stage that you be capable of doing everything, you know everything, but that's not the thing. Important is that you're willing to grow, that you want to learn, and I think that's important, right? Not that you already be the master and everything. That's not that's impossible, and it's also not the right mindset. You just the mindset needs to be you want to learn more, you want to grow more in your pace, right? That feels right for you.
Yeah, you're just
I
trying to be
okay.
the better person that you were the day before.
Yeah.
So you basically just trying to compete against yourself. So every day is like, I want to better myself. I want to grow myself into something more. So it kind of works with the attachment styles of like becoming more secure. Because at the end of the day, wherever you are, and the avoidant style or the anxious style is like both of those styles you said according to the book they want to grow towards a more secure style. So you're not, I don't think people are always going to be secure. Like Nature Call said, there's always going to be um, like different styles throughout your life. Like sometimes you might feel a little bit more anxious, and then at one time you're gonna feel a little bit more like secure, or maybe a little bit more avoidant. But there's always like different motions, like
Mm.
the ebbs and flows of it. But I think every day we're just trying to be a better version of ourselves, and we're just trying to be more vulnerable and more secure, and to be comfortable being vulnerable and to be honest and be better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I sometimes feel like the speed that I'm running at is quite slow and I need to figure out how to do Need for Speed and pick up speed.
Just unlock the
Yeah, so it's some video game references. I've been playing some video games
nitro,
thanks to Poopy Head, you know. So
hit the brakes, press on the gas.
I think we've been doing too much of that. But Purapati, what were you talking about the languages, the 5 languages you were talking about?
The love languages, yeah, I mean,
Yes,
it's
that one.
another
Yes.
really interesting psychological topic when it comes to relationship, and it helped me also a lot to better understand my partner. And funny side info, I mean, when you said like, yeah, you're on a slow pace, I think, but you are aware of, as I said before, because for me, it those topics are being interesting to grow. You know when that happened to me after my big first breakup. Then I was looking into topics like that, how to become better, because I knew something was off, right? Because why my relationship didn't last, right? What was the reasons, right? What did I wrong? What can I do better, right? I mean, you look a lot into yourself and say, what if I have done things differently? What if I would have knew that already? But that's the thing, you don't know. I mean, you do it on the best guess you are at that moment. And then I read a lot, and now when I look back, I was like, it was a good thing it happened, because now I'm a different person. I grew a lot, during those things. And and especially back then, I also read that book about love languages, and I think think a lot of people know that book, but I always like to mention it to friends if they kind of have difficulty to say talking about love. What is love, right? And in that book, it goes about that. Um, that there are five different love languages, right? So, and that's how your partner or you show love, and you are. It's not like a black and white thing, but it is for some love languages you're more, how you say that, open to, like you feel a little more closer to the person, and other ones it's nice that they do that, but it has not a big effect on you. So one is a gift. So if you give your partner gifts from time to time, or that's one love language, right? Another one is act of service. So if you do things like little things like, okay, hey, I do the laundry for us, or I organized us this ski weekend, I just did it, act of service. Then it's a touch, like I need hugs, I like if someone cuddles me, um, the fourth one is a word of affirmation. It's kind of, hey, I really appreciate that you're in my life, like saying things, like really kind of express your feelings. That's the fourth one. And the fifth one is, ha.
That's a
Ha,
good one.
you got me now. What we said, act of service, gift, touch, word of affirmation, and
Quality time.
quality time. Thank you. I just had it in my
What a
head.
save Poopy had. What a save.
Quality time. It's really spending time with someone, like not quantity. It's really about quality that you are there, and this is really interesting, and because it often is the way you showing to your partner. Like, let's say I like giving gifts from time to time to my partner. That also kind of shows my partner this would be my love language, because I'm doing that. So I think because I like to receive gifts, that's my love language, which I'll give my partner. But the problem is here, my partner maybe thinks that's nice, but that's not their love language. For them, it's maybe quality time. And they say, well, I would appreciate way more if we go on a ski weekend together rather than having now a gift from you. And that's always those miscommunication happen and say, well, I don't know, you don't love me the way, why you don't do this and that. That's because you don't talk the same language. That's why I call it love language. Like you speak Spanish and I speak English, you don't understand each other, right? And this is really interesting, and I think it's good to do that with your partner. There's like quizzes out there, like questions, and you have severals, but you have tendency like one or two a little bit higher than the other ones, right? Example for me it's touch and word of affirmation. Those two are for me really important, right? I just had a discussion now with my girlfriend just like 15 minutes ago. I know, a little more, like an hour ago, and it was for me really important that she said thank you because I did something big. And so this is for me really important to hear, like, oh, I appreciate what you did. Thank you. For her, this is not so important. That's why for her it's more like act of service. For her, it's kind of, if I'm doing the stuff, she's kind of, oh, that's my love languages. So, and this is really good to know, right? I don't know, can you just by hearing that kind of figure out what kind of love language could be yours?
Poopy head?
Okay. Poopy head we go. I think that for me, my top love languages would be probably quality time, acts of service, and touch.
All
I'm gonna
five.
talk.
You
Yeah, the
mean
other.
all three at the same level, or are we talking? What is the priority? 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna talk about the other two that I didn't pick first. So gifts is not really important to me because I think I'm very specific on
Mm,
gifts, and I think most gifts that I get, I kind of don't really use them again. So I think if it was to be a gift, it would have to be
so,
something I would
so thank
use.
you. So cool.
Yeah. If you
Oh my
give me
God! Yeah, the
money,
last 2 years he's been saying these things to us.
if you give me money as a gift, I'll take that because then I can
Okay.
use it to get my own
So
thing.
I
But
had
some people don't like
I
that.
bought chocolate for you from Switzerland, so you don't want that. Okay, I see.
I mean, I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'll probably give it a nature call.
Okay,
Real love chocolate.
okay.
Yeah, so gift wouldn't be as important for me. Words of affirmation, I think, was the other one I didn't pick.
Yeah.
I feel like that one would be a little bit redundant, especially if I value quality time and acts of service more, because I feel like those translate better for me in terms of a romantic connection or any connection really, because sometimes words of affirmation, if you always like, like, hey, you look good today, or I like your outfit or something, I think sometimes it can get very repetitive. I think I'm just thinking in terms of a repetitive aspect, like if you hear the same thing again and again, I think it just kind of loses its value. So I feel like things that you do with someone, like an acts of service, like helping them with like anything that you have trouble with, or just trying to do something nice for you once in a while. I think that, or just consistently, I think that one has more value or impact to me than someone verbally saying like, "Hey, you look good today," or "You're doing good today." And then I think even quality time is very important as well, because for a lot of us, like we have 9 to 5 jobs. Most of us, 9 to 5 jobs, or just things that we have throughout our day or weekend that just takes up so much time. So to fit in dating is just very hard because you only have specific slots of time that you're able to dedicate for someone, and especially with people with a busy schedule, for them to go out of their way to take some time throughout their their day or their life to dedicate that to someone, I think that really shows how much they value you and how much they appreciate you, and to do just to hang out with you. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, something grand, like, hey, let's go ice skating this weekend. Like, even just staying with you, being with you, just watching a movie, I think that is good enough, because that shows that they're taking the time to spend it with you. And it's not really about the activity, it's more about the feeling of the activity. Like, how do you feel? It's not about how grand it is. Like,
Mm.
um, as long as you feel the emotions there, the emotions of love and everything, the love languages, I think that works well. And then touch is just, it's good to be like physically comforted, like hugs, cuddles, like that's always a good thing. So that's my take on my top um, acts of love. Now, if I were to rank them, I would say maybe quality time would be on the top, because I think, especially where we are in NYC, I think it just takes up a lot of dedication. So I think quality time would be tough, would be on the top, and then what was it? Acts of service would be below it. Just trying to think of things to make the person like happy. Take the time to really think of stuff that can be cool is definitely a good thing. And then the third one would be touch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about you?
Interesting. I think again, I'm hearing it for the first time clearly. I think definitely quality time would be the first for me. I really think and appreciate a person not only in my relationship but also in my friendship and the people that are close to me, that they're spending time with me. Time is, I think, a number one asset, and it truly shows that you really care about a person if you are spending time with them and getting to know each other better. So quality time is probably number one. Um, what I think when we talk about acts of service, it actually has like, I don't know why it gives me a more of a negative tonation in my mind. As if like you're doing something for them to make them happy, rather than if it. As I don't have much information, I don't think the rest of the world takes it as that. But I prefer doing like small things, like surprise things when like others are not expecting. Like if we go into the topic of Valentine, so many people will be celebrating Valentine's on February 14th. I personally have no harm going out on the same day, but it's not special for a girl. Every girl is getting celebrated that day. It is more special if, let's say, during a week, for no reason on a Wednesday, I come home with flowers and I give her flowers. And I'm like, yeah, I was just thinking about you earlier today. So I was like, why not give a beautiful girl something beautiful? And flowers came to mind. So I got that for you. I feel that is more true and creates a special moment in my mind for the girl that I be with than doing something that everyone is celebrating on a special day. Now, that could be me, and could be that my partner might not be in that same space. So I would still celebrate the Valentine's or something and do something small, but I wouldn't go grand or something. I think a grand would be just me and my close people in a small circle. And that's what I would think would be grand. So I don't know if that would be counted as acts of service or
That's
not.
gift.
Yeah.
That's gift.
That's
man.
gifts? Okay.
Yeah.
So then number one would be quality time, and second would be gift giving for me.
Nice.
I like giving gifts, but I am probably the toughest person in this world to receive gifts. Chocolates are great suggestions because I've got a massive sweet tooth. But
chocolate and magnets.
yes, magnets also. I already have one. I'm assuming the second one's coming soon for the fridge.
Nice.
But the story of magnets is traveling, so I feel like there's a special souvenir from a place, so I can remember the gift from a friend. But other things, when my friends try to give me gifts like clothes or buy me things, I'm very selective taste, so it's very tough for me. But I appreciate taking the gifts. But it sometimes even gets tough for me when they ask me, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, well, whatever I wanted, I bought it already. And like, I'm already using it. It's on my credit card. I do not like to ask for money. I feel very awkward to ask for money as a gift. I feel like has a friendship or has our relationship come to such a place that now you're giving me money? Like, I feel there's no emotion behind it. So I would rather take a card filled with feelings and that being written than money. But I do not mind a free dinner or lunch that I know a few people on this call have done. Well, there's one person who's done a lot, but
I can't do anything with feelings. What am I going to buy with that?
So you will get like a heart, and you go.
Look at that.
There you go. See?
Damn.
Well, that just brings me to the next question, because you said Valentine's Day is coming up and hearts. So are you guys romantic? What do you think about being romantic? Is this cheesy, or is this still kind of a thing for you guys? You want to be romantic for your partner, or you like to be if your partner is romantic? How you see that?
Porta Potty was like, "Are you romantic?" I'm like,
no, I saw you like.
Well, with Valentine's Day coming up, I actually never celebrated Valentine's Day. So if things still go to plan, this will actually be my first time of celebrating it with someone.
So excited! Please don't tell that person that it's your first time, though.
Yes. As long as they don't see this podcast.
Valentine's Day virgin.
Oh yeah, maybe they might see the podcast, but maybe tell them that we'll put it online. No,
After.
no. We
Post
should put it
credits.
before.
Post
We'll
edits.
just tell them not to see it.
But in terms of like terms of that, I would say like I when Nature Club, when you mentioned about acts of service, you mentioned that or acts of service, you assume that acts of service we're doing it with the intention of making others happy. I think that is the case for a lot of people, but I think with acts of service, I think that can really vary with intention. So some people, so acts of service, I think is like doing things without them asking for it. But I think with me, with acts of service, I don't necessarily do things to make others happy. Sometimes I just want to because I don't know. I just feel like helping somebody out sometimes. And I think when it comes to Valentine's Day and like the romance part, I think it's that ties in with the acts of service because it's not necessarily the gifts that you give, it's more about the meaning that you put into it. So sometimes I feel like if I were to give somebody flowers, if there was no meaning into those flowers being given or the intention of being given, like if I just buy flowers just for the sake that it's Valentine's Day, I feel like that wouldn't really mean much. But like if I were to buy flowers, like you said, and this ties in with the gift giving stuff, but if I were to buy flowers on a day that's not Valentine's Day, like a random day during the week, I think that would have a lot more meaning because I feel like for Valentine's Day, everybody's going to do the routine because we've been grown up that way with media and how people just celebrate Valentine's Day, like, oh, they always do something romantic on that day. So it just becomes more like a routine. And I think at this point, like if people don't celebrate it, it's more like FOMO, so like fear of missing out. So I just think that Valentine's Day kind of loses its meaning as much because I feel like a lot of people kind of just do the same routine and stuff without as much meaning to it. But that's just some cases. I don't think everybody's going to be like that. But I think just really just trying to be a good person, just trying to be romantic, try to make sure they're having a good time, make sure you're having a good time. Because at the end of the day, whoever you're with, it's a two-way street, like you want your feelings to be recognized and validated as much as their feelings as well. Like if it's just a one-sided thing, it's like you're not going to be happy.
Mm.
If you're just caring only about yourself and not caring about the other person, then she's not going to be happy. So I think it's just really trying to communicate and understand what their love language or love languages are and to be able to find perhaps a middle ground or somewhere where it works in a way that both of you guys are compatible and you're thinking of each other, but you're also trying to ensure that you're also thinking of yourself as well, and both of you guys get to be happy and grow together.
So I think I'm a bit different than that. To answer porta potty's first half of the question, I'll come back to you, Bobby, what you said. But I think I'm a complete hopeless romantic. I don't like to say that, and so that people know that about me. I like to have a surprise. Always, I like to let people think that I've got nothing, and be like, "Oh, I completely forgot about this day. Oh, that is today. Oh, I had no clue." So I like to take expectations from here to very low. And when there's just like completely there's nothing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, but we just have to go right around the corner. I gotta get some work done. So come with me. Let's just have this. I don't want to go. And I'm like, no, I need you, please. So I take it, and then it's just like a celebration. And I like to add a surprise element. I feel it's too boring if like people are just expecting something. So I like to take them left before showing them. And even for my best friend, I did the same thing. I said that, oh, I've got nothing, but then I did celebrate their birthday very well. But Yeah, for my partner, I would say that when I talk about flowers, I'm not just talking about just any flowers. So, to just give an example, I would know exactly which flower she likes. And then I would go to probably 5 to 7 stores and try to find those flowers and then pick some other flowers, mix them together in a bouquet, make sure they have an amazing fragrance, so they need to be fresh. There'll be some old ones and some new ones because the old ones will, by old, I mean they'll be completely open and big and showing its beauty, and the younger ones will be still closed, um, but they'll be showing their beauty a day or two later. So a lot of thought goes in each of my gifts that I give, and I do not like to give one gift. I'll do flowers. I'll have a card because card represents feelings. Um, Flowers represents her beauty and how I feel about her and what she likes. And then there'll be other gifts depending on what is special for her. So a bouquet of gifts and or a basket of gifts for her, and each gift would be well thought and planned, maybe over a month and a half. But if you ask me if she does the same, that's my hopeless romantic side, or the side when we're talking about with border party. But to come to you, Poopy Head, I don't think I would be like, if somebody gets me a basket, that's great. But if they don't, I don't have an expectation to receive the same. My enjoyment is to give and see the happiness on their face. And just to see, it's a very selfless happiness. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm just thinking about it now. To see them happy, that actually brings so much happiness to me when I see somebody smile. And you've seen that so many times, Sophia, you and me have told you that after there's food going bad, let's just take it and give it to the homeless people, or like let's take it. Just seeing a smile on anyone's face, meaning your partner is very special. But when I see my partner making that smile, that just is probably is my best gift that she could have given me for that day, is that raw, genuine smile that she provides, because that's how I know that she's happy from the inside, and it's not like a fake happy moment. It's actually just like she was completely. And then it's kind of fun because after that she troubles me that, hey, you told me you had no gifts, and then what is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, oops, I forgot. But it works for me also because what if I forget one day? So I'm like, oh, I forgot. I have to keep, you know. So I'd rather keep it going like this, so I don't have to worry about it. Because with my memory, I have a bad feeling I might forget something. So I think it's, but that's why I start putting a gift together a month and a half earlier, um, because they're just like small little things I like, and it makes me happy to give gifts. But I don't need to receive those gifts to be happy. So maybe it's just like a one-sided gift giving. I don't know if that's a thing,
But it's not necessarily one sided because it's still two sided, even though it's not the same thing, exact thing.
okay.
Because what I'm saying is like, well, what you were saying is that by you giving gifts, by you doing these acts of service, you are essentially making yourself happy, even though you're not receiving the exact same thing. Because by you doing these things and you seeing them being happy, that makes you happy. So, in respect, it's kind of a two-way street because both of you
Yeah.
guys are benefiting from the relationship, even though the same exact thing isn't being given or received by both parties. But both of you guys are still satisfied or still happy. So, I think that's a two-way street in a sense, even though it's not the exact same thing that's being given or received.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
kind of the point.
definitely a two-way street. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a two-way street in that sense. It's
Yeah.
because I feel like partner gives add so much relaxation, or whenever you're vulnerable, she's there to support you. That she's there for so many things that You don't really need gifts or things like these. As long as she's in your corner, and if you ever look back in your corner, she's standing there. That's the most beautiful gift anybody can give you for your entire life. So I'd rather take that gift forever than get small gifts. But that's just me. That's just my way of being. But yeah, back to you, Porta Potty. I've shown my hopeless romanticism. Your turn.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but I also kind of want to wrap up the session. We talked about a lot of great stuff, and I quickly wanted to add up what you said. I mean that's really great because often kind of the expectations are if I'm giving you something, I expect you giving me back, right? And this is often also a killer in a relationship because and it goes so far, and I open up now a huge new topic that we can also discuss maybe in a second round about relationship because there are way more topics. But I read once there was a guy who thought he has to do the dishes that he can have then intimacy time with his girlfriend. So he expected when he do now the dishes, cooks or whatever, then he has quality time in the bed area with his wife. And yeah, you're laughing now, but it's really sad, because and this is exactly that. So I'm doing something, I need to get back. And in his case now it's quality time in intimacy, right? And
That's sad.
it's yeah, and you just said like you are happy to give without
Yeah.
any expectation that you immediately need something back, right? And I think this is something personally I need to become better, but I think that's really great that you are like that. And yeah, I mean, I'm also kind of mixed. Sometimes I have my romantic moments, but not in a cheesy way. I don't like cheesiness. I mean, I would never put the ring in a champagne glass. I would never do that. That's so not me. But
Goes down.
the but like what I did once is I bought a book, and in that book you had to kind of fill in the answers for your partner, like this and this likes my partner the most, and I fill it in her name and gave it to her, like that's how I see you because I'm listening to you. That's and this is kind of the romantic level I think I am, but not, I don't know, lying in bed with roses. This is not me. This is the cheesy romantic, which I'm not. And I think it's really interesting because, to be honest, we didn't have a really kind of a user journey, like a storyline for that call, but I think went really well because we started with a hard topic about argumentations. We talked about psychological aspect like attachment style and love languages. We talk about showing emotions and all that stuff, and becoming now more romantic, right? And talking about Valentine's Day, about being romantic. And I think that's already a lot of great topics when it comes to relationship. And I think we can say stay tuned because there's way more, right? We talk about dif- different relationship styles, like long-term relationship, like distance, like friendship plus, like open relationships. We can talk about boundaries, how it is important to set boundaries also in your relationship, that you are clear.
Yeah.
And we talked about that already earlier, like having more than just your woman, like setting different pillars in your life. In case of breakups is a big topic, right? What happened with a breakup, how you feel, and all that stuff. And I think there are a lot of more topics we can talk maybe in the second
Yeah.
round.
I think that's a great idea. We should, and you said some great topics, and we could definitely, I think breakup would be a fun topic to also talk about maybe next time. But I do want to end it on a quick note. I know we're going to just wrap it up, but if you had to just come two quick things, what are your two gifts that you've given that you've always loved about yourself that you've given because you also have gift giving, um, or words of affirmation for you? And then Poopy had yours to extra services that you have remembered. And then I'll give two and we'll wrap it up right after that.
Is Poopy Head going first?
Wait.
Sure.
That was a question. Okay. Let's see. Two acts of service. Oh, does it have to be tied in a romantic aspect? Because then that would be. I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
I'll start. Yes, it has to be a romantic aspect.
Okay.
Okay. I also want Porta Potty to get out. Okay. So I'll go first. You
Okay.
think about it, but romantic, yes.
Okay.
So my first would be the favorite one is like Porta Potty is not cheesy. I am as cheesy as it gets. So I did a path of roses from the door to the bed, and the bed was full of roses. And they came there, and then I gave my gifts and everything there. So that was one of my gifts that I enjoyed. And then another one was they were not expecting um, any of their close loved ones. I set up time with everybody who I know, their loved ones, their family members, their best friends, and did a surprise party for them. And their friends had come from different parts, not only of America, but internationally. And I made a party of all their favorite people and surprised them in a house, or it was like a hotel room with everyone they knew, and they came on a song that they wanted, so they all had special entrances to her, and she sat down and they danced around her, and then they gave speeches of what they love about her and what makes her special, and that was like one of my second favorite gift. But those are my two. Poopy head or porta potty, whoever would likes to go can take the lead.
Okay. So I wrote it down, but one of them is it ties back with the last one of our last podcast episodes with online dating, but one of them was, and it was the first date, but it was helping her move out of her apartment to another borough in the city. So I would say that was an act of service because I didn't really have to go out of my way to do that for her, especially on a first date, but just to help her like remove the screws, like all the like carrying of the
IKEA.
bedroom and the stuff like that, putting it on the car and then unloading it on the car and resetting it up at the new place. That basically took the whole day, but like that was, I think, a lot of commitment, especially for a first meet, because you don't really know this person at all. And I think the fact that I was willing to take that chance to be like, hey, I like you enough to want to stay with you that whole day and just do something that's, out of my time, just to do that kind of act of service and to, you know, so that you don't have to get like a moving company or anything, it's easier for
Yeah.
yourself and satisfied. I think that was definitely one of the bigger ones I've done. And then another one was something with like I had to take someone to get her first nose piercing, and she was very scared to do it. She was like asking questions like, "Oh, is there gonna be blood? Is there gonna be a lot of pain?" And then
Like if I do it.
right, it was like with one of those stapler thingy. I
Yeah.
don't know what the machine is called, but for me to just, and it kind of goes with quality time too, but and a little bit of gifts as well. But just for me to go with her throughout that whole experience and just to be with her, and also taking a funny video of her as well, of her reaction, I think that kind of really made things a lot less serious and a little bit more lighthearted. Like, yeah, the experience of getting the piercing and before was difficult for her, but I think just with me of taking that video of her and also giving her like a pastry or a dessert afterwards, just for like a good job of like, hey, you did it. I think that really was in it itself like a act of service of just trying to be present with her and just make sure like I'm there for her and I was with her through the experience and she made it. So yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's great. That's really great.
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My 2 acts of service I did for my girlfriend. I would say one was that I organized 2 birthday parties for her. One in New
Whoa.
York. Yeah, like 1 week apart from each other because with her friends in New York City and with her family in New Jersey, and it was a surprise for her. Um, and yeah, it was a lot of planning involved and everything, and she was really surprised. And the second one, I would say, she, as you know, guys, she wants to become a travel agent. So what I'm doing, I'm helping her a lot with creating reels, social media posts, helping her with designs, website, and I'm just doing it and sending it to her. She even don't ask me, and I'm just saying, here I have a new idea, or here I did something quickly, take it, or you don't have to. And I think, yeah, I mean, she also told me that means a lot to her. So I think those are the 2 acts of services. I think just top of my head. Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's a lot. I'm like, that explains why Porta Potty is so busy these days.
Well,
Like, he has got no time.
and listening. I listening a lot. being
That's a big
being
one.
a good listener. That's what guys needs to learn. Guys, stop giving feedback. Stop. I give you now an advice, guys.
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
to learn that in the hard way, trust me.
I'm listening.
The 3 H's. You heard about the 3 H's. Ask
Yes,
your
yes.
girlfriend, what do you need? Is it H, a hug? You need a hug from me at the moment? Do you need hearing? Should I just hearing without giving you any feedback, just listening? Or the third one I can remember but the name, but it's about, do you need help? Do you need feedback? Do you need a service I need to do for you? I cannot remember the third H, but these are basically oh wait, I need to
Hear,
know.
hug, and help.
Help. Yeah, so
Oh,
obvious.
okay.
So
Google
obvious.
No,
So
yeah,
it's
it's
late,
from
it's
the blog,
11
I
p.m.
remember.
But
Yes.
so that's what I learned because often, guys, women, they like to talk, and that's also a good sign if they want to share everything. And you often kind of want to give solutions, right? You're close to give, like, yeah, it's easy. You need to do this and this and that. But
Problem solving. Yeah.
don't do it. Only if they ask you to, or ask them, hey, do you want a feedback, or just listening. Trust me, I had to learn it the hard way.
No, it's good. Thank you for the tips.
Yeah.
I think we all will learn that we gotta hear. You said hug and health.
Help. Yeah.
Hear.
Okay.
Help.
All right. Meaning, I know that Porta Potty can. Puppy Head, I think we both could learn from, and apply it in our lives.
Yeah,
You know?
there's a lot to be learned here.
Yeah,
Meaning,
well,
Porta
that's,
Potty's got experience, wealth of experience we can learn from him.
stay
Yeah.
curious. I mean, that's the main part, right?
True. But thank you for staying a bit late. We can call it off, and I think, yeah, it was a good session.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.